What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Spin from the Real. Once again, I'm Matt, and joining me, as always, is the personality himself,
Bang!
the one and the only.
Stop it,
Chris Anthony Lopez.
Stop it! You're way too kind, man. What's going on, homie? You good?
Not much. I'm good. I'm enjoying this.
I bet you are. You know, I just got done enjoying Wyatt versus Moran. That match just ended a little bit ago.
Yeah, just literally minutes ago.
Yeah, and it was surprisingly a lot of fun. I know we'll probably get into it in a second, but it was surprisingly fun to watch for a first round match.
Yeah, no,
especially with two competitors we haven't really seen too much of, if at all.
I was just like, wow, because you for a good moment there, like, oh, this match is over.
Yeah. Like they, Bam Bam, which probably is one of my top 5 favorite nicknames in the whole league now. Frank Moran, I thought he had it in the bag.
Right.
Like, and I don't want to dwell on the misfortunes of this match, especially for Swag, but holy hell, James White pulling Catherine O'Hara out of, I mean, apparently he knew it according to the post interview. He knew off the top of his dome.
He's like, I knew she was in the movie. But I know she played more than one character. Yeah. So what can you do? All you got to do is take a guess with the name that's in your head. So
especially if that's like your 5-point question, the match is
the game's on the line. Like,
so it was solid. I really like this match. So like I'm saying, between two competitors, we barely seen this Schmodown, if at all. Like,
first really time debuts for both of them. So hey, great.
Like I was rewatching the Free for All. I think it was Free for All 2. It was a couple days ago, and Frank Moran was in it, and I'm like, oh hey,
he's coming up.
Yeah, look at that guy. He did surprisingly well. And I wasn't too familiar with Frank Moran because he was at Popcorn Talk after I stopped watching, essentially when the Schmoes left Popcorn Talk, or when the Schmoes crew left. So I'm like, oh, like, hey, that guy's actually pretty good. He's pretty solid. And then here he is. It just came down to it. It was a tough question. I didn't know the Princess and the Frog question. Like, that was a toughie. And I mean, it makes sense in hindsight, but my God, like it was good for a first round match in this massive tournament, the largest tournament the Schwan's ever put on. It was a great way to really start the first round. I know we had a playing game with the Ghost and the Coyote yesterday.
Yes.
Great way to start the first round. I loved it. Really loved it.
No, I'm hyped. We got the title match on Friday. We're going to talk about that later. We got a match tomorrow though, and that's Somerville McKee. Somerville McKee.
Another play-in.
It's just like, wow, like I could really get used to this 4 matches a week shit.
Yeah, they're really spoiling us, and I know we've talked about it on this show a ton, that the Schmodown spoiling the hell out of the fans. So the fact that we're getting a match 4 times a week, and then these pay-per-view matches every Friday, holy God! Like it's only gonna get crazy. What's up, name? How are we doing? So I'm really stoked to see Marisol and Bonnie go at it tomorrow. Especially like Bonnie, she didn't do too hot in her match against Brett earlier this season, so I really hope she brings the heat. And I mean, Marisol, I'm not too familiar with her, so I'm excited to see what goes on. We'll see what happens. Especially like Corruption, they're riding off that Adam Collins win.
Damn, that's just Corruption. How fast they keep rising scares me, man. I'm just like,
And there's a lot of hype for Adam Collins before that match against Andres Gallegos a couple days ago, or yesterday, really. And I'm like, I've heard of Adam Collins. There's a lot of hype behind Adam Collins, and Shannon put it the best herself. She's like, everyone is doubting me on my rookies, every single person, and Adam Collins showed he's none to play with. Like, no. I'm like, yo, I don't know who this guy is, but I'm scared of this dude because how much he put up? 18?
Yeah, 18.
Like, so that's pretty solid.
Perfect round in the first.
Yeah, and you went perfect in the first, and you got your bonus question. So this Adam Collins guy, I don't have the bracket in front of me, so I don't know who he's playing now. If you can pull that up for me,
Merla Roca.
Yeah, so that match might actually be pretty damn good, especially so. And this week or this Friday's title match is going to show us who's in that spot.
Yes.
But regardless of who it is, it's going to be pretty solid. So shout out to Adam Collins for not only picking up the dub, but you're going up against either one of the goats.
Right.
Like, so good stuff, dude. Good luck to you.
Oh,
My God.
one of the three goats. The third goat just retired a while ago.
Yeah, but as of, like right now, Roca and Merle, those are like the two active competitors that I think like everyone should strive to be like them in regards to what they bring to the match and what they bring to promos and character. Especially with Dan in the last, really the last couple years. Like once he stepped away and he came back after that guy match, Dan's been kicking butt, especially when it comes to promos. My God.
Yeah.
So,
because Dan,
Collins, shout out to you, man.
Well, and you know what you brought up, Merle. He was never really the big character guy. He was there to win, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And now at least there's a semblance of a character there, and he's that hero that we all know and love. So I'm cool with it.
I was rewatching Matt. I don't know if you watch Accent Industries, the YouTube channel, but
I'm subscribed. But with all the other stuff I watch,
there's a lot going on. But I love Andrew and Ben, so I watched their shows, and I rewatched when they had Dan to talk about not only his career but the match with Guy, the infamous collision match. Yeah, where I rewatched the match first, and then I rewatched this. And I know we're straying way off topic, but I want to bring this up real fast.
You're cool, man.
So
it's our show. We can do whatever we want.
Exactly. I'm talking schmo now. I love this thing. And I really love what happened during that match. So everyone, literally everyone that was that was in the building that day thought Dan was going to whoop Andrew Guy's ass. Like, throw him around. It wasn't even funny. Christian and Mark were clowning Andrew from the commentary table right before they came out. It was insane. Like, Mark was ragging on him, and Christian was like, and then the Merle interview, apparently Christian told Dan, "Yo, my grandmother could beat Andrew Guy in movie trivia." So Andrew's getting buried before the match even started, and then the match played out the way it was, and you see Christian's face the whole time. He's like, "Oh no."
Well, Christian is he's infamously said, like, yeah, I had already planned a title match, Merle versus Levine, this, that, and the other, and I just saw the banner and everything burn right there before my eyes. And
the fact that it was a TKO did not help the case at all.
Not at all.
So, like the guy who he retired on his own will, or he said, "Oh, I'll come back. I take a break, but I'm gonna come back." Came back, did the 5 Horsemen reveal. It's one of the biggest moments that Schwan's ever had.
I still probably got it top 2, honestly.
Yeah, it's one of them. Like, and he came back, challenged Guy. Guy was like, "Yeah," and Guy beats him, shakes up the whole league in the process, giving everyone the finger. It was incredible. And hearing Dan talk about it, like, it kind of showed him the new way of how the league's being played.
Yep.
And now, because of that moment, I credit that moment a lot, not only with Andrew's character and with Dan, but Dan had to bring it afterwards. And I mean, him being with the Horsemen at the time, Matt Nost was a killer on the microphone.
Yes.
John Roca is obviously one of the killers on the mic.
John Roca is the rock on the mic when it comes to the Showdown.
He can cut a promo on anything. Like, I can ask him to cut a promo on this hat right here, and he can do it. So Dan had to step up his game, and now he's a double champ. Like, so, and he's killing it he can cut a promo. He don't need anybody else with him. He can cut promos easily by himself.
Mm-hmm.
And because he had to adapt to the game. And to go back to Adam Collins, so regardless of who this man or who comes out of Friday, whether it's Ethan or Dan, Adam Collins has the chips stacked against him, even though he put on a great showing for a playing game. You're either facing the Outlaw or Dangerous Dan. So I'm over here like, bro, good luck. I don't envy him. I don't. No. But man, these matches that we've gotten so far the last 2 days have been great.
Yes.
Absolutely great.
I will say this. If Collins does end up playing Roca, I hope to God that Roca just wipes the floor with him, because the last thing I need is corruption to have more ammo to go after Roca like they have over the years.
Yo, oh my God. Either way, if it's Roca or if it's Dan, it's going to be a hard-ass match for Adam. But if Adam somehow some way topples one of the GOATs, not only is corruption gonna be dangling that over the exchange, but how's that gonna play into future matches with the exchange? Because there's already been a lot of talk. I don't want to get into this now. There's already been a lot of talk, especially on the Facebook page, and on Rundown. Where's Roka gonna go? Who's Roka gonna be with?
Yeah, it's literally, as someone who lived through this as a Cleveland Cavs fan, it's like being a Cavs fan when LeBron was here the second time around. Literally, it's, oh, he's good. He's as good as gone. Oh, this, that, and the other. And here's all I got to say. Winning can change a lot of things.
You're right.
And what's the exchange known for?
They're winners, dude.
Exactly.
They're a bunch, but at the same time, like we already saw a discouraged Roka. Granted, it was a brief discouragement, but he was still discouraged after that loss to Ethan. And if Dan somehow loses the belt to Ethan again on Friday, and next week if corruption beats the Founding Fathers, all of this we start getting crazy now, and it's only August. The season is nowhere near over. But we start getting crazy already. If we're already planting the seeds for where the hell is Roka going to go next season, like, damn, we're already counting out the exchange already? Because a lot of people are saying, yo, he might go to the dungeon with Kaiser, which, I mean, okay, no. I could totally see that. He might go to Swag with Winston.
That's
I like that a lot.
That's the only one I can see realistically.
If it's not the exchange, you think it's Swag?
It's exchange or Swag, because Loka is a very loyal guy.
Yeah.
And he's definitely going to talk with Dan to figure out what Dan's thinking.
Yeah, are they going to stay together if they lose the belts?
Yep.
Like, so much could happen in the next couple weeks that will set the stage for the rest of the season. Because now are we still going for belts or are we going for points?
Right.
And as a character, like, to break kayfabe for a second, as a character, if you're Roka, what the hell are you doing? So, like, we already know where some of the exchange members lie in regards to points, belts, whatever.
For the most part, all of them care about belts, and that's what I love about the exchange.
And hell yeah, drape them in gold. But if they already have the tag belts and the singles belt, but if they lose that in the next 2 weeks, I mean, unless you guys plow through the tournament, Ben may be your best shot with that number 1 contenders match later this month. So there's so much going. There's so much happening in the Schmodown. I can't fathom it. I really can't.
Here's what I gotta say. If Roka leaves for the exchange for any faction but Swag, I will buy a brand new bottle of this and drink it through an entire broadcast of ours. That's what I gotta
do. I can't let you. I can't let you do that. Granted, there's probably like 1,000 miles between us, so there's gonna be a way for me to stop you. But that's some risky biscuits, dude. I can't watch you do that to yourself.
That's how confident I am that John Roka will either be a member of the exchange or Swag or when the time comes around.
It depends also on Winston and how he's looking. Because, like I said, are Dan and Roka going to stay together? Now, if Roka, see, that's cooler. See, now I have more room.
Yeah.
But if say Dan and Roka break up, right? That's the easiest way for me to think that he will go to Swag, because who's he going to drop out of Oyama and Lon? Is he going to break up Final Exam?
No, he's not. But he might.
He might. Ace, who might be the Star Wars champion by the end of the year.
But he might. He doesn't have to. Here.
Yes, he does.
No, hold on. You're not gonna drop Lon or Paul. That's for sure.
Until at least one guaranteed spot.
Yeah. Here's my thing.
There's no way Ace goes into the draft. There's no way.
I don't know, because Star Wars.
If he wins the belt.
No. I'm not playing right now. If he wins the belt, I'm talking about.
Okay.
If Ace competes and he still loses, because I think now that Damon has time to focus solely on Star Wars, we're going to see the same beast. But Ace is one of those players, I can go back in the draft and get him after I get these guaranteed people.
Oh man. Okay.
But
And I don't want to immediately say Damon's going to be the champ by the end of the year.
I know. It's just one of those things. Yes, Ace did well in
really well. He upset everyone he played.
Well,
every single
he
person
got better and better each match. But
Knapsack, Kelly, DeMolanta, 3 studs in Star Wars, and he beat them all in the same tournament.
Yes.
And we can't just sweep that under the rug. We can't.
I'm not. But someone who has not lost a match outside of his one Inner Geekdom loss in a little over 2 years, I can't discount that.
Oh, no. Like, and Damon, and we talked about this in the show a couple weeks ago. Damon's probably one of the greatest of all time just because of his performances in the divisions he's played in. Even in the Champions exhibition that we saw on the Patreon. So, like, he's nothing to play with. But if Ace brings that same heat and he has all the momentum on this side. Damon's last match was a loss.
Yeah,
Ace's
but
it's
a loss in a different division.
You're right, but it's a loss nonetheless. Ace is coming out. Ace is the underdog story of the year, arguably the babyface of the year. And if he wins the championship, probably player of the year because of how dominant he was in his division. They're gonna butt heads. I can't wait to see Damon v. Cabrera. I hope to God the world's not on fire by that point so we can have this match in the studio because I want to see this heat, bruh. I want to see it. And if Ace wins the Star Wars belt, it's going to be hard as hell for Winston to drop him. Because you're not breaking up Final Exam. I don't care if they lose this match this weekend. He's not dropping them.
No, he's not.
He can't afford to.
But here's what I got to say. Let's say
Roka and Dan.
I was about to say, let's say Ace is champion, and you have Roka and Dan, who are still tag champions, and they're both willing to come to Swag. If you're Winston, what do you do then?
Oh man.
Because I'm sorry, if I'm Winston, I'm going with the 2 players that I know are each, because Roku's talking about joining the Star Wars division next year. We know
he's talking about doing Star Wars for years now.
Yeah. I think he's like, I think next year is the year I make the jump. Merle was about to make the jump into Inner Geekdom before all this mess. So, like, you have. Gosh. So, do I want my 2 division player where he might be a championship in one division, or do I want my 3 division players who one of them might have 2 championships and one of them might have 1, and they're arguably 2 of the greatest of all time.
Okay, now if I'm actually, holy God, look at the title of this episode, Chandru.
Oh no!
Okay. We saw Kevin Smets's performance during the Chandru match. It wasn't the best, but my man's gonna come back hotter than hell. And Chance winning the Inner Geekdom division puts a real monkey wrench into that.
It's a sad day in hell when I actually have to root for Chance Ellison.
Yo, you must hate this Inner Geekdom match coming in December. So I think so. Chandru's still champ. Hypothetically, if Chandru's still champ, now that really throws a monkey wrench into all these plans.
Yeah.
Because Inner Geekdom is none to play with. We've talked about this numerous times. Inner Geekdom is the hardest division in the whole damn Schmodown. Now, if Chandru, Ace, and that's hypothetically, let's say Final Exam, are all champs at the end of the year, because it totally could happen. It's totally in the cards.
Oh, you're right.
I cannot. I would. Who the hell do you drop? You have to drop a champ. You're keeping your tag champs.
If Marlon Roca both said we want to be with Swag, I think
I'm talking if Winston's players right now are champs.
I know. I'm playing into the right now. Let's just say Marlon Roca stay champs, and they both want to play for Swag. I'm sorry. I'm willing to break up Lon and Paul at this point and pray to God I can grab Lon in the first round of the draft.
Oh man, you think Lon's going to go into the draft?
Because remember, the players that don't get picked up are going to be put in the draft.
I thought that other players could talk to other managers, unless I misheard.
You can talk to other managers, but it's like what they did last year. Trying to talk a manager into picking them up. Like
so Lon has to, if he wants to play for Winston, but doesn't get top 3, he has to hedge his bets in the draft.
Yeah.
Oh man, see, that's too much of a risk, because then out of spite, if I don't know, Shannon, I'm picking Lon. If Lon's the best player in the draft, why skip over him? So, okay, but to answer your question before I brought up Chandru, because I want to talk about Chandru for a bit, because that match and backstage this past Tuesday or yesterday was nuts.
Oh, jeez, Christ.
So, if right now, with the exception of Chandru, if I'm Winston, and if I had to pick the Founding Fathers or Final Exam, of course I'm picking the Founding Fathers, because now the current tag champs right now, they both have the opportunity to be in the tournament. If not, one of them is, and the other one's the champion, the singles champion. It'd be dumb not to take them, especially if they want to be in your faction. I know loyalty is a big thing in the Schmoedown. Loyalty is huge, but sometimes, do you want to be loyal to others, or do you want to succeed? We saw what happened to the Rock Stars with picking the odd couple. Granted, it's not their fault, they haven't competed too much, but look where they're at in the standings. And hopefully we'll see incredible performances out of them in the coming months. But that's what happened with loyalty. Roxy was loyal to the odd couple, and look where she's at.
Yeah.
And I'm not discrediting Roxy as a manager and Draco and Snyder. They're both incredible competitors, and Roxy's is a top tier manager that the Schmoedown has ever had. But we see what loyalty has gotten for her, and she's my prime example of loyalty. So if I'm picking loyalty or points and belts, I'm picking belts, dude.
You want to know my prime example of loyalty?
What's loyalty?
Finstock.
That's another good one. But
look where he is. Up until 2 weeks ago, he was number 1 in the standings. No one was close until the end of the tournament.
They were number 1 since the season started.
Mm-hmm.
Up until Swag came out of nowhere.
No. It was corruption came out of nowhere. Swag was right there at.
Oh, we're talking about competition.
I'm just talking about the scoreboard in general. Right now.
I'm just talking about who, like, because Swag overtook them.
Oh yeah, this past week they overtook them.
But you're right. Corruption gave them a competition. They gave them a fight. Because I mean, you saw, especially as the months went on, especially when COVID hit, that the Finstock Exchange just had a butt ton of matches. They were playing like crazy the first few months, especially when COVID hit. That's all we saw. A lot of the exchange. I mean, for good reason, because they're 4 of the best players of all time.
Winners gonna win. Winners get to be playing.
You're right. But what happens when Finstock's players don't have belts? And this is coming from a guy that loves the Finstock Exchange. I love Finstock and I love the players in it. But what happens if Dan loses the singles belt to Irwin? What happens if the Founding Fathers lose to Corruption? Then does loyalty come into play? We already saw what Roka did with Ethan, and he mentioned it straight up on backstage last week. I wish Bobby Gucci did a better job as being a manager.
No, but then he explained even further. He's like, I didn't feel like I can go to him in that moment. So you can't use that.
But how many times can we use that excuse before it starts to hurt the competitor?
But it is a very valid excuse. Roxy brought up a very fair, and she did this yesterday on SEN. She brought up what I thought was a very fair option to offset that, where the managers and player who are talking get to mute their mics and actually get to FaceTime each other so they can have a conversation where they feel vulnerable. Because I'm going to be honest, you saw my match against Taylor. You saw
how Early Trivia Showdown, our Showdown fan league that we do every Monday and Friday. Yes, please, go ahead.
Yeah. But you saw my match with Taylor. I didn't have a manager, and I had to try. And internally, I was freaking out after that first round. But you saw how I acted on the outside. I stayed calm. I stayed cool. I stayed collected. And I wish I had a manager that I could talk to about and be like, yo, so I don't know, man. Like I was feeling strong, but now I can't. I just can't.
And that's a real catch-22 that the Schmodown is in, because I mean that sounds super easy, right? Like you would think someone would have thought of that when this started months ago. But it's August, or it's mid-August now, which I cannot believe it's mid-August, and we're still dealing with all this crazy stuff. And we're still talking about this stuff. We're still talking about how managers can't, intimately approach their players during matches. Because, I mean, Finstock brought that up, too, on backstage with Roca, and it was a great point. Like, it's an incredible point, and I can't deny that. But if the Schmodown can't do that, then we have to adjust accordingly. Like a lot of these players are adjusting to the online stuff. So like it's a hard adjustment. And if the Schmodown can't afford to do that, then y'all have to adjust too. And this is coming from a fan. Like who the hell am I to say this? But y'all gotta change with the game. Shit. Excuse my French. The 4th round changed.
Yeah.
In championship matches.
That
and some people like this a lot.
That 4th round needs to say the same. I'm gonna be honest.
And yeah, I really dig it. It's really cool. I forgot who mentioned it, but someone's like, "Yo, what if we ask like continuous questions, not just 10?"
I think
that's hard.
I think that was Roca, and I'm not
awesome.
No, I think someone brought up a valid point. That's not fair. It becomes this thing where
it's bigger than trivia. It's speed.
Yeah, and it's not about knowledge anymore. It's
sure, like, and I get that. I like this 4th round how we got it now.
Yeah.
I love the buzzer in the studio matches, but we're getting off topic. But the Schmodown is changing with this, and if managers can't speak to their competitors how they used to, they have to adapt. And if this is hurting competitors' matches, causing them the matches, arguably Roca could have probably won this match if Tom could have spoken to him personally,
right,
and been in a better position. So all I'm saying is that if this continues, I will not be surprised if Roca ends up leaving the exchange if he's not a champ with Dan. Wait, take Dan with him.
I think he's going to take Dan with him
and go to a faction like Swag, which makes the most sense if it's not the exchange.
Swag, drip, drip. Yeah, we coming for these ships.
So it's something that I think that I'm totally expecting a 2-horse race between Swag and the exchange. At least in Roca. If I'm Roca, that's the 2 teams I'm looking at right now. But I can't count out. Like the only other one I could possibly think of is the dungeon, because Kaiser didn't have the best year.
The dungeon. I think what keeps Kaiser.
Imagine Smets, Merle, and Roca as your 3. Oh my god!
I think what ends up, and please, if you're watching, chime in the comments. I think what prevents Roca from going to the dungeon is outside of Smets how unproven they are.
Well, and if we're doing the Greek-Mercer thing, who cares about the rest of the team? Because we're about to redraft anyway.
That's true.
It's Kaiser, who's he's a great manager. Like, don't even look at the points right now. I'm talking about Kaiser as a person, as a manager. Yeah, his players have struggled outside of a couple.
He's a good mouth. I don't know necessarily yet if he's a good manager. Ask
Smets.
I wish I could. I'd love to have Kevin Smets on the show to ask him about that.
Well, let's ask him, and then we'll talk to him then. But Kaiser, I think Kaiser's a great manager, and Kevin Smets is Exhibit A. That's really all we need is Kevin Smets, one of the most dominant players of the Schmodown, arguably ever, and he's only been in the league for a limited amount of time. And if he gets Merle and Roca, champs or not, what a threesome to go into the draft with, to establish your team and to build new stars. Having 3 of the best minds in the Schmodown right now on your team with John Kaiser as your mouthpiece? Lord! That's a killer team going into the draft next year.
It's a killer team, but at the same time, can you trust Kaiser to act? But right now, isn't Kaiser – I know Frankie Numbers tweeted the standings earlier, so I'm going to try to pull those up. But if I remember correctly, Kaiser is like right there in last place with the usual suspects.
And I mean, let's be honest. Anyone who's covered the Schmoedown will be the first to admit that Kaiser did not have the greatest draft, and that's all right. It's the first year we're really doing something like this. Like it's the league changed. It became more of a sport now. Like it's leading more and more into sports as we're going. And so are you saying because of the faction standings that proves who's a good manager or not?
I'm just saying,
because who's in last? Sam Levine, the greatest of all time. Sam Levine, the guy who retired with both belts.
That's not what I'm getting at right now.
Is that what you're trying to say?
No, stop and hear me out. Mm-hmm. I'm saying, can you trust him to draft?
If he has minds like Roca and Merle with him, yes. Because let's be real. If John Roca's on your team, he definitely has a hand in who you're picking. It's like LeBron. You mentioned LeBron earlier. Like, you can't just really? LeBron definitely has a hand in who comes to his team. Roca he's totally going to have a say in it as well. You can't deny that. There's no way Johnson sit back and be like, all right, yeah, go ahead. I got you. No, there's no way. I call BS if that's the case. John's better than that. Shit, Dan's better than that.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting because with them being two of the three greatest players of all time, without a doubt, I'm still iffy. And I guess this is just because I'm comfortable. I know I can trust a manager like Winston because Winston, most unproven manager this year, all of his players are competing basically on every single level.
Yep. Same face of the year, in my opinion.
He's earned my trust as a manager.
Mm-hmm.
He's earned my trust.
Yep.
Gotcha. Gucci, his resume speaks for itself. He's earned my trust.
I mean, yeah, Tom's the best manager of all time.
Yeah, but what other managers? Roxy, and like you said, her loyalty was her downfall this year. Shannon, I'm pretty sure, if she's watching, I know I'm going to get attacked this. I'm pretty sure Mike is the one pulling the strings in the background.
Oh, no, don't say that. Did you not watch the Adam Collins match?
No,
she's great manager for a rookie like Adam.
No, I'm talking about when it came to her drafting. I'm talking about in terms of her drafting. I would be remiss to say if Kalinowski didn't have a little bit of say in that Cougar pick, or outside of the Dewberry pick, because that was clearly.
And that's coming from like Kalinowski was adamant on it's Shannon or bust. I'm not playing. Like,
right, and that's another.
So,
reason.
I mean, of course.
I'm not sure if it's just if it's really a partnership rather than just her.
She was talk about unproven. Like we had only seen Shannon like in bits and pieces with Mike with corruption last year. So her coming into this year as a faction manager by her lonesome.
Yes, and she's done a fantastic job.
I think that's you're underselling it.
No,
I think you're underselling it. She's done an incredible, amazing job.
I'm not talking about her. I'm not talking about her gameplay. I'm talking about outside of gameplay. Is what I'm talking about.
I guarantee she's learned so much
from
by
Mike,
just being a part of. No, just from watching the Schmoedown in general. Like I know what you're trying to say. Like, of course, Mike's like they live together. So like you saw Mike in the Adam Collins match.
Every match that they're filming,
they live together. What do you expect?
But my point is, she's always making a little pop-up cameo.
So I think like Shannon. She has to have picked up at least a thing or two in the last 8 months of doing this, and it's only going to get better, especially if her players win belts. Chance could be a double champion by the end of the year. Like, you can't knock Shannon, especially hypothetically if Collins beats Merle/Roca. Hypothetically, in this hypothetical scenario, if that happens, oh my God.
In-game management, I'm not taking a damn thing away from her because an in-game manager, she's fantastic.
But we don't know how she is outside of the game because they don't show all of that. So how would we know?
Fair point. I digress.
I hate to discredit her, especially if we don't know.
I am not trying to discredit her. Let me just make that clear. I'm just saying behind the scenes portions, I'm left wondering if that's more of a partnership than just her straight up mind. That's all I'm saying.
And
So,
I mean, especially with a team like Corruption, like we already know who their three is. Odds are it's going to be Chance. Well, Mike's a lock. Chance is a lock.
Chance, Laura Kelly,
and Laura Kelly. Which I mean, that's a pretty gruesome threesome to start your season with, to start your faction with. But like, we don't know how Shannon is outside of the matches that we tape, and how she is as a manager for all of them. We can only take people's words for it. And I've seen nothing and heard nothing but great things about Shannon. So she's definitely proven. Sam Levine's one of the best minds the Schmodown's ever had. So I can't knock Sam either. Even
boy, he's a big reason we've had Challenge Fest this season.
Yeah, and I love it. It adds to the Schmodown. And obviously Roxy's a proven manager. Kate's been coming to her own slowly as the season's progressed. Coy, like, we don't see too much of Coy nowadays, which really bums me out. But
that's just because his team hasn't been playing as much.
I mean, we're going to see Shazam. I believe it's next
week. Next week.
The winner of Shazam and the Pride.
I am
going to be so dope.
Excited.
I want to see more of Coy. Who am I missing?
We did Winston. We did Shannon. We did Gucci. Kate. Roxy.
Yeah. We did Kaiser. I already talked about Kaiser. I already talked about
6 out of 9. Ken
with the we haven't seen too much of Ken since the Star Wars tournament, but we already know how Ken is. We already know how Ken operates, and that's if he's still the Burning Droogs' manager. That's even if that's their name going into next year. They could get a whole rebrand. If Ken's still a manager, I'm down to see the Knights of Ken. Give me some. Enough. So there's so many proven managers in this thing that I can't. That like we don't know how it is outside of matches, but all I'm saying is that it's going to be a toughie. If you're the Exchange towards the end of the year, if you're the Swag towards the end of the year, it's those two especially. Those are going to be hot commodities, hot spots for potential free agents and in the draft. And people like Roca, who has a big question mark in their future of the Schmodown, even though he said he's competing. I want to see what happens, and it starts, at least to me, this starts in August with all these title matches, with the tournament, and then we go forward. I'm really curious to see how this goes. I'm really curious.
Here, I'm gonna share my screen real quick because I just put up the faction standings. All right, so see this? This right here is partly why I can't trust Kaiser. Yes, the Den has that, but you look at their matches, it's just been more so she's starting to use more unproven talent. And realistically, after today, we know it's 2 green check marks. The Exchange, this is Barbarian. This is Demolanta. That's Barbarian. That's Roca. And I know they've had another match. I can't think of who it was. But you get my point. Like these three right here. This is why right here, because we know what Gucci's having. He's sliding a little bit, but that's just how the season goes. But
there's
these two teams,
left.
And there's these two teams right here. Here's what I don't think Roca wants to go heel again, and that's what he'd have to do if he went to Corruption. I think he wants to stay face. So you go to the dungeon, probably going to have to go heel. Finstock Exchange, he can stay face. Swag, he can stay face. Even the rock stars, he can stay face.
I mean, if as much as I do love me some heel work, I think Roca could. If Roca has Dan, unless Dan just is willing to go full heel, which that's something I'm. Please, I would love. Can I get some more?
That's the day I die.
That's the day. I'm probably just gonna I will be shining. I'll be glowing the day Dan turns heel with John Roca, and if that's how the season ends, imagine that's how the season ends, man. That's the last thing we see.
My heart would break.
We see Merle and Roca shaking hands with John Kaiser. That's the last shot we see of the season. I will cry. I will shed
my
human
heart
tears.
will literally break, and I don't know if I'll be able to come back to the Schmoedown. If I get a heel Dan Murrell, I would just
please give me more. Like, we've seen the fire in Dan, so I mean, a lot could happen between now and December, between now and Spectacular. So yeah, Roka might want to stay face for now. And if he doesn't do that well in the singles tournament, if he loses the tag belt, so much could happen. And I know he's adamant on competing going forward. He might even be the first player manager. That'd be really cool too. But I
mean, we do know the manager who finishes in last is not going to be manager next year. That's what they said earlier this year. Granted, could Christian's stance have changed because of everything that's been going on? Yes. So right now, looking at the standings again, I'll have to read.
No, you're fine. It's just things can get real crazy, and it all starts this week. It really has already started.
Yeah, realistically, I think Roxy's going to be getting up into these top threes with the tournament. Same with Kate, because Ben's not in the tournament. I don't know. We just saw Silverstreeny not show up in last Friday's match, which we'll get into in a little bit. But I think Roxy's going up. These three up top aren't going to be changing really. The dungeon, you have to rely on Z-Man, Zipper, and rookies again. I don't know if I can trust that. Usual suspects. That's Sam Levine. I'm never going to count out Sam Levine.
Never. You can't.
Burning Drews. Here, let me pull this up. So let's see. Alonzo Duralde, not counting him out.
Can't.
Whitney Seibold, not counting him out.
Mm-mm.
Bonnie Somerville, I want to count her out, but because Christian's been talking about how she's been actually trying to get into this, like really get into this, I can't say I'm counting her out yet. We'll find out how that goes tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then Jader Paramo. He did decent in his first match. But he's going against Viveda, and because Viveda is a good player but doesn't know the game side of things, I can't really count Jader out there. So, Brandon Droogs, I can see going up. But then you look at the Mercs, Brendan Meyer, can't count him out.
No.
William, the Beast, can't count him out.
And especially, we don't know when these matches have gotten taped. So, I mean, if Brendan Meyer had a warm-up, that's one hell of a warm-up with Alonzo Duralde.
Right.
So, if that match happened before this tag match or vice versa, we can see some real heat coming from Meyer and Bibiani.
Yeah. Tim Franco and Tom. Tim Franco's done well. Can't count him out.
A lot of people are saying that Tim's going to beat Tom.
Yeah.
I've been seeing that a lot on Twitter and Reddit.
And then you look at Perry and Kalinowski. Mike's on another level right now. As much as I don't want to count Perry off, even last weekend, she's like, when somebody asked her about Schmoedown, she's like, I'm very competitive. And I know I got shafted because I got Kalinowski, but I'm still going to try my best. Perry has knowledge. It's just a matter of if she can pull it in the time limits. I can't count.
And Perry's in that hellhole that is the bottom right part of the bracket. That's a mess and a half over there. But my point is, you see the usual suspects, the Droogs and the Mercs. They have reason to be like, oh yeah, they can pull this off. And then you look at the den, or excuse me, the dungeon. They have Vinny Mancuso. They have Zipper. Yeah, they have Zipper. They have Video Drew. And did they have a fourth? I don't even see. Oh, or their fourth was yesterday, a plan, and he lost. So they got 3 chances now. And Video Drew, let's be honest, she's a great player, but she's streaky. I think out of the 3 competitors you mentioned, out of those 3 matches, Video Drew has the best shot at beating her opponent, in my opinion. I
could argue Zipper a little bit, but I understand where you're coming from.
Oh yeah, I mean Zipper and Preston that's my next shot, because whoever wins that play-in match with Mancuso, they're going to be fed to Ethan or Roca.
Yeah. So and we find out who wins or who plays that as soon as we find out who wins on on freaking Friday. So yeah, it's one of those things. But my point is, you see all that. You can't count out any other competitor, any other managers' teams, but you can virtually count out the dungeon, and then they'd be done for the year. Couldn't go anywhere else.
But and you're right. The final standings are, especially if we're holding on to that. If you're placed last, you can't manage anymore.
You can't manage next year. It's not anymore, but next
year. Yeah, but you can't manage next year with your own faction. God bless America. I think just because the dungeon had a bad year, I won't say I have a negative stigma with them. Kaiser can really, if Smets is your selling key, because Smets is staying with Kaiser no matter what.
Well, because what if Kaiser can't manage? I would
cry if Smets left John Kaiser. What'd you say?
Oh, you got to think about it. What if Kaiser can't manage? Then what?
Then my God, Smets is going to be the most coveted and sought after free agent that the Spawn will have all free agency. Because besides Roca, if Kaiser can't manage, where the hell Smets going to go?
And
where?
And Roca's kind of made it known that he and Smets have a great relationship.
They're homies.
So,
they're homies.
Do you think, and it pains me to say this because I love Riley, but do you think he goes like, especially if Ben's champion, let's say Merle's champion still.
Okay.
And let's say the Founding Fathers have the tag team. Gucci's got to have to let someone go Gucci's going to have to do some real finagling because what if you're able to get a Smets?
Oh, man. Because then at that point, it comes down to who takes that third spot. It's Riley, Bateman, and Smets. Hypothetically.
Yes.
Holy God. It depends on what are you trying to do? Because Bateman doesn't do Inner Geekdom. Smets he's obviously a killer Inner Geekdom. Has talked about going into Star Wars.
Has talked about going into singles.
And to singles. I mean, geez. Like, my man, didn't he won the exhibition? I know we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Yeah. So he's nothing to play with. And if Smets wants to do multiple divisions, like he's gonna be even more sought after if Kaiser can't manage. But this all comes down to Kaiser not being able to manage and finishing last. And I don't know how the teams tournament is going to pan out. I read this thing. I may have misread it, but about 8 teams, the 8-team tournament only. But
that makes sense because whoever's the champion probably doesn't get their faction doesn't get to represent.
Yeah, and like that, and depends on who lost that title match. Do they get it? Why would they get immediately a shot back into the tournament to play again? I'm just so confused. There's so many ifs, ands, or buts. It's these next couple weeks are going to be crucial, and the tournaments are really going to tell us who's going to be dominating this thing into the team tournament, and that's going to help us going into Spectacular. Which man. Or if we get another Inner Geekdom match, Christian, I know on SCN he refused to say there's going to be that one last Inner Geekdom match of the year.
He refused to say there's not going to be one between now and Spectacular.
I mean, I would love to see one between now and Spectacular.
I think he's teasing Mara.
That's one hell of a tease. And if it's a straight title match for Chandru,
she she apparently has an automatic rematch. So
I wonder how long that's going to last. Do we have a timetable on that? Because she hasn't competed in a hot second.
No, I think because of her situation, it's a little bit of because of her circumstances, a little bit of a different story.
Because man, Smets, and just so we can talk about what happened this past Friday briefly before we preview this Friday. I know we're already going long.
Yes.
Chandru and Smets. I don't know if you agree with me or not, but I don't think Chandru won. I think Smets lost.
I agree. And I think, and we'll get into this more, and I think that's gone to Chandru's head because Chandru thinks he won. No.
Backstage yesterday.
Well, let's save this till towards the end because if we do get the test, I want to be able to talk about this with him.
Sure, you're right. But the match with Smets and Chandru, I forgot what I was doing, but you were texting me. You
were recording for Chris's sake.
Yes, my podcast for Chris's sake, where you can find on podcasts everywhere. But no, I was getting those texts and I was talking to my guest on the podcast. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I was recording, so I was trying not to freak out. And you were texting me like, oh my God, like effing Chandru. And you were sending me the scores, it was happening. I'm like, yo, Smets is crapping the bed. Like how we were scared of him doing.
And then you go back and watch the match and you see it wasn't Chandru winning, it was Smets just shit the bed.
And he was the first person to tell you. He talked about it on the Action Guys, not the Action Guys, on Action Industries. He was psyching himself out of it, and apparently, if you go back and watch some of Smets' matches, at least the ones that he's losing or lost,
you can tell when he psychs himself out.
You can tell. Like, I haven't gone back and watched Kalinowski and Smets.
You can know. I did. You can tell he psyched himself out.
His demeanor changed, and I'm like, yo, that's what way to just show your hand. And he the poker face is just gone. Like the Smasher character is off, and that's the guy, Kevin Smets. So I do really think that Smets lost that match, and that he will come back with the effing vengeance next season. He's going to have the largest chip on his shoulder, and I cannot wait to see it whenever the hell it happens. But Chandru, we talked about it on the show last week. Like, he's none to play with either. He's a really good Inter-Geekdom player, and he, a lot of people saying he knows the rules of the Schmodown. Like, the rules change a lot in the Schmodown depending on the match, but his big thing is that he remembered previous rulings for matches. That is an incredible thing to do, because in the Schmodown, and the Facebook page is going crazy on this the last week. Like, the Schmodown, where's the rule book? Where's the rule book? Whatever. It's like, obviously we don't have a set. We don't have a PDF to go to. We don't have a book to buy.
I wish we did, though.
Oh, yeah. That'd be an instant Amazon click. But I'm just thinking, what a perfect strat. Remember previous rulings just in case it ever happens to you again. Because I wonder how many times matches could have changed in the past if people played like Chandru, which is a crazy sentence to say, especially after talking about this on the show last week. Because we both thought Smets was going to win. And we wanted him to win handily, but we're eating crow. Here we are.
We'll touch on that. But you brought up something that he used the past matches. Nick did something similar when he played Toby, in the fan league.
Yes.
And in the first match with Boar Gullet, Toby said "Bo," and he's like, "Where's my point?" And we're like, "Can't give it to you." And then Toby challenged, and we looked it up, and then Nick brought up Heedy Headley.
Yeah, and it's a great strat when there's not specific, especially, and those are toughies, and the Schmodown's had plenty of those, like you just said. So I'm glad that he and for as much as I'm not a fan of the Chandru character, and we'll talk about this in a second, but I'm really. I can't be not pleased with how he did it. I respect the hell out of it.
Yes.
Because and we do our thing on the Really Trivia Showdown on this channel, the Schmodown Fan League, and that's the approach you have to take sometimes. That's my poster falls in the background. So I really do think that Chandru outplayed Smets, but Smets lost the match for himself. Chandru didn't necessarily beat him, and Chandru, it all went to his head. And is it safe to say we finally have a heel Chandru?
I think we do.
After begging for it for weeks.
I think we do. He still claims he's not. He's a crazy motherfucker, though. Anyways, this Friday. Let's talk this Friday.
This Friday is the singles championship match between Ethan Irwin and Dan Murrell. Dan Murrell, the current champion. Ethan Irwin beat John Roca in dominant. I don't want to say dominant, but in a classic Schmodown match, to where it's two incredible competitors paying two incredible games, arguably the best game either man has played, and Ethan definitely earned his way to Dan. And in the undercard, we get to see Final Exam. Oh no,
versus Shazam.
Versus Shazam.
Yes. All right, and that's the match I want to talk about first.
Yes, go ahead.
Because
you're so eager.
I've been dying for some fucking Shazam, man.
Where's the base been at? I'm jonesing for William Bibbs.
Because they lost to open the season. I appreciate Bibbs and Coy coming out saying, yeah, it wasn't the smartest to play both of them, or both the Kid and the Beast in New York, because now they were sidelined for so long. But we finally are getting them back, and I couldn't be more hyped. That's how you are.
Yeah, like, it's all right. We're all a little tired today. It's just it's a long Wednesday. But look, I'm so stoked to see Bibbs again. Like, the Schmodown isn't the Schmodown without William Bibbiani, and I like Brendan Meyer. Like he's proven this last year for Brendan Meyer has been incredible, and to the point where putting him and Bibbs as a team together on a team just proved how fantastic they can be, and they've always had championship potential. And this is going to be a real proving ground for this team, especially going up against Paulo Yama and Lon Harris, who just came off of their match at the Pride. So I'm just like, I wonder how that's going to pan out.
Yeah, no, I'm curious how it pans out too, because Lon and Paul have been on a hot streak since they started, and it doesn't look like it has an end in sight. So coming in, they've had 2 matches already. Shazam hasn't had a single one. Neither of these players has played a singles match yet, as far as we know. If they haven't, it's not released yet. So, like, what's going on? What are they doing? How are they prepping for this? Are they going to be ready for Friday when they're finally back in the saddle and have a chance to get back where they should be going?
I'm so excited to see Shazam again. I'm so stoked. My God. And I know these Schmodown pay-per-views, they're sold to us as main event undercard, but
they're main event.
Yeah, we out here double main eventing truly, and really every week we're out here double main eventing.
I ain't even mad about it. But
oh hell no! Like this whole month, literally this whole month, we're double main eventing.
And just a reminder, if you aren't subscribed to the Schmodown Patreon, you should go do that, because that $10 tier is freaking amazing. Just to be
all the matches.
You get all the matches. You get all of the Patreon matches. We got the 80s match between Kaiser and Dagnino up now. Like, dude, if you aren't subscribing to it, what are you doing? So, little bit of a plug there. I know it's not ours. I know it's not our Patreon, but
and then the crazy ass match you get at the end of the month.
Yes.
Probably, I'm just gonna say it, the biggest match Schmodown's ever put on.
That's actually free to public, so it's not pay-per-view.
But still, it's insane. Like, the hype for all this Schmodown stuff is nuts. Like, I'm telling y'all, this is the perfect time to join the Schmodown if you already haven't. And I can't handle all this crazy stuff anymore. I really can't. There's way too much going on. But in regards to this Friday, let's go back to. So I want to know, because we've been watching these past Fridays. Yes.
Lon and Paul seem like a true team, especially with how you have to play the third round. We have to go. You get that chance to talk, and then when you're locking in your answer, this is my answer, or this is what we came up with. Final answer. I love it.
Oh man, it's hard to pick winners. Like, all these. I can't.
No, but hey, well, I was about to say our track record from last week. We got the team match right. We did not get the main event right. And to be honest, exactly what we predicted, exactly what we questioned if it would happen, happened. Rachel Silverstrini did not show up. As much as Kate wants to say she did, in that second round was all Ben. That second round was all Ben.
Final Exam is so damn scary, after the first two matches that they played this year, they were really good, but they're just getting better and better, and it's two incredible singles. It's like Corruption when the tournament started. You're putting two great singles competitors that would have never been a team otherwise on the same team, and them dominating. Like they're up there to me with the Odd Couples and the Who's the Boss. I know that may sound crazy to some, but haven't they proven that to everyone already, that they're not here to play around?
Yeah.
And going up against another team, the same circumstance, Bibbs and Meyer. Oh, God bless America. This is honestly a coin flip. And we got the team match right this week. Matt, I had no idea where you're leaning in regards to this team match, but I think I'm going
Final Exam.
I think I have to go Final Exam, right?
Yeah, I agree, because exactly what we just said. They're warmed up. They're on a hot streak. They literally have not lost a match yet, if I remember correctly.
I think, God, it really hurts me to take
to
Shazam
go against
off,
Shazam. Yeah, it hurts.
But Shazam could easily win the team tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Easy. Like, I'm talking like easy. And we won't know until the team bracket comes out, but I think I'm going to go with Final Exam. I'm gonna go Final Exam.
It's one of those things. I'm pulling up their records right now. So we're looking at Final Exam. They are 3-0. 3-0. And I'm supposed to bet against them? No, I can't, man. I really can't.
They beat the first time was the Experiment?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Experiment, Deep 13, and the Pride. Like, the teams, arguably, they get better as they went.
Mm-hmm. I'll say Deep 13 was better than the Pride.
I think in regards to gameplay, maybe not trivia, but gameplay, I might lean towards the Pride, but I totally agree with what you're saying.
I agree with that 110%. But in terms of knowledge, it was without a doubt.
Deep 13 is one of the scariest teams in regards to knowledge, straight movie trivia knowledge. But Final Exam bested all of them. I think they're going to best Shazam because Bibbs and Meyer haven't played in a hot second as a team. So let's see how this goes. I'm curious. I'm curious to see how they adjust to the online format, but I'm sticking Final Exam. But the kicker is this, at least according to us, this other main event that we got going on.
Yeah. And
that's where the money's at.
That's where the real money's at, man. And I don't know. I'm a little scared to even attempt predicting this one because of what happened last time we predicted something against Irwin.
We doubted Ethan, and he said, "Oh, you see those two crazy kids that spin from the reel? Those nerds? I'm gonna show them what's up." Yeah, and he definitely did. Ethan's scary as hell, dude.
Mm-hmm. But
I want to flip a coin. Like, I can't pick one between Dan and Ethan. I really can't.
Like, just remember, it took Merle having a perfect match, not one miss, a perfect match for him to take the title away from Ethan. And that's what's scary. That's what's scary. Ethan only missed. Oh shit! There went my alcohol. Oh,
Ethan. Dude, as you go ahead and attempt to clean that up here.
No. It just knocked over. It didn't spill.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, then you're good. You're good.
But Ethan only missed like a couple questions when he played Roka, and that was a rusty Ethan.
Yeah, that was the Ethan that hadn't played since what?
March.
What was that? March,
February, technically, if you want to bring in the fact that I pre-recorded. Like, or maybe it could have been March because I remember the last filming day was the day I interviewed, or the day after I interviewed Sam Levine, and we had a conversation about the fact that he couldn't be there that weekend.
I think that sitting on the couch comfy as hell, Ethan, is scary as hell. Dan hasn't played one of these online matches yet, right?
No, technically yes. The champions won.
Okay, yeah. Dan, that was just them really hanging out, answering movie trivia. Yeah. God. Here, I'll bite the bullet first. I am going to say that there will be a new singles champion going into the weekend. I know. I think that if the same Ethan that shows up against Roca, playing against a Roca that played his best match, arguably his best match that he ever played, that John Roca, John Roca has ever played.
I do got to say that challenge is just fucking brilliant.
If Ethan can beat that John, he can totally beat Dan. But it depends on the Dan that we get. I think it's gonna be close. It's gonna be close. It's not gonna be like a Dandapani Smets match. I think we're gonna. Yeah, I say Ethan. I got Ethan.
I'm still going Merle.
And I can't blame you. It's a coin flip, dude. Like, and it depends on the Ethan we get. Depends on the Merle that we get. Both two of the best Shimon players ever. I know Ethan's accolades don't stack up to Dan's, but I can't discredit and discount Ethan because of that. So I'm gonna say Ethan, but I'm not gonna be surprised if Dan wins. I'm not. This match is gonna be killer. I think this match will be better than Roca and Irwin that we got 2 weeks ago, and it's gonna be here bold statement. It's gonna be the best match we've gotten so far in this StreamYard streaming era so far. I'm gonna call it right now. That's what I'm gonna say. Best match so far.
That's a bold ass prediction.
Because Irwin and Roca, I think, as of right now, as of August 12th, is that match the best match that we've gotten so far. Demolanta and Cabrera is another one, but I'm saying that Irwin and or Merle and Irwin are gonna top both of those going into the weekend, but Irwin will scrape, and I mean scrape by, just barely. I mean, if I'm wrong, cool. All right, I'm still getting great Schmodown. All right, bet. But I just think Irwin's gonna slide.
Here, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say Irwin, just because every fucking live main event so far since we've done this show, my prediction has been the exact opposite. So I'm gonna predict Irwin. Just for that reason.
That might bite you in the ass. Don't have that bite. Because if Ethan wins, then I don't want Dan saying like, "Oh, those spin from the real nerds, they screwed me, they jinxed me."
I just want to say this. I only said Irwin because I want you to win.
And I only said Irwin because it's the first thing that came out of my mouth.
Yeah,
like that's really all it came down to.
Right after you shoved your foot in it.
And if I eat crow, dude, I've been eating crow the last couple of weeks. Whether it's with Nets, with Chandru, with the Pride. Like I was hyping up the Pride a bunch. Like
I wasn't. Remember, I was like
Roca. We both had
Roca, yes. But the Pride, you went with the Pride. I went with Final Exam.
Well, yeah, dude. Cause I'm out here. I'm eating crow. Like I'm not even hungry. Because I've been eating crow the last couple of weeks. So if I'm eating more, then all right, cool. But as long as I'm getting cool Shimoda, that's all I care about. And that's why I'm saying that's my one bold claim. My one bold claim is that this will be the best match we've gotten so far out of the whole online era of the Schmodown. Or let me rephrase, the social distance Schmodown. That's just what I got. I can't. It's a toughie, man. If you ask me again tomorrow, I'll probably say Merle. You could have asked me yesterday, I probably would have said Merle. But today, I'm going with Ethan. Shout out to Ethan Irwin. Because, man, what the hell? This is hard. It's really, really hard.
Fair enough. I know that. I'm sorry about that. I was just parched, man.
Oh, no, you're fine.
But no, Meryl's the GOAT. Can you really, I can't bring myself to bet.
He's lost. He's lost before.
So is Irwin. And you want to know who Irwin lost to?
Irwin beat Dan too.
I know. But my point is, you want to know who Irwin lost to? Merle.
Like, I know the two matches were under two completely different circumstances before. One was a tournament match. The other one was a title match. But this one, title match again. And, dude, I'm telling you, sitting on the couch comfortable, Ethan, he might be nothing to play with. And if that Roka match proves anything, what the hell are we doing? So I'm calling. Final Exam wins the tag match. Damn, that hurts my feelings again. I damn want to change my mind. And Ethan will win the singles belt for the second time, going into the weekend and the singles tournament, essentially.
I'm going Final Exam and Merle. I'm getting a 2-for-2 prediction this week. I'm calling it right now.
That's your bold claim.
I'm making this claim right now. Going 2-for-2 finally in this live event-based world. And I will feel less like dog crap next week when we go on the show because of it.
Yo, all Matt cares about is that he gets 2-for-2. Both matches could be trash. But as long as he gets 2-for-2, as long as Ethan wins.
Ethan loses now.
As long as Merle wins and Final Exam wins. All I want is good stuff. So please, give me more. And the next week, I don't want to get that. Next week's stuff's going to be absolutely crazy.
Oh my god, the fact
arguably crazier.
The fact that we get to preview every week's show.
Yeah,
I'm loving it.
This is and I feel like I'm a broken record at this point. It's the best time to be a fan of the Schmodown. We're just lucky to be a part of it.
Yeah, here we are. And I'm glad we made this show because this is something we talked about since last year. That's the funny thing. This show was a year in the making, and we didn't get it until June.
Yeah, random as hell. But, and what a time to jump in. So, but yeah, the standings. We'll see some more love for Final Exam. So I don't know if that'll put Swag back over. But
Swag is still back over right now, technically.
Even with the 3-point TKO that Corruption had?
Let me see. I think so.
Fact check for me one time. I wanted actually,
yes, they are because Corruption wasn't Corruption, and then they jumped to Finstock Exchange.
How many points are they behind?
1.
As of right now?
Yes, it's Swag with 31, Corruption with 30, and Finstock Exchange with 29. So it's a razor thin margin.
Yo, that's a 2-point swing is between third.
It's literally one match.
Yeah, it's a one match. You got to win. So these next couple weeks are going to be crazy, man. And if our predictions say anything, then Swag's still going to be on top going into at least with Final Exam winning this weekend. But that's if Final Exam wins. Shazam could easily pull.
No, because it's a title match for title match, 5 or 6 points. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head.
Yeah, like I said, because I think Dan's gonna. I shouldn't say Dan's gonna lose. Ethan's gonna win.
Oh, nah.
I shouldn't say Dan's gonna. I don't want to say Dan's gonna lose. I think Ethan's gonna win because everyone's a winner in my book. But but you're right. The title matches, if Merle does win, then we could definitely see another swing, another reshuffling. Of places.
So here, let's put it to you this way: if Swag wins and this is worth 3 points if I remember correctly, right? 3 points for a win.
For tournaments or for title matches?
For the team, because it's not tournament.
I want to say so. Don't quote me on that. Yeah.
So if Swag wins, that's 3 points. So they'll be at 34. The exchange will, if Merle wins, will either tie them or go ahead a point.
because of potential KO or TKO.
Oh, because if I remember correctly, title matches are 5, and they're only down. Oh yeah, so they would potentially, yeah, you're right. If they'd be tied for first, or they'd be second.
It's gonna be it's weird, and I want to, but hey, I'm down for. Just give me good Schmodown. I'll worry about the points later. Because there's still a butt ton of points to be thrown around.
Good Schmodown points. Good Schmodown points.
I feel like go hand in hand. Belts, points. What do I want?
They go hand in hand, really.
I mean, nah, I can't necessarily agree with that. I don't think they go hand in hand.
Well, no. Well, I look at it this way. If there's not a KO or a TKO, that's a good match.
Yes.
So, points-wise, if you only end up with 3 points, that tells me it was a great match.
Oh, I mean, yeah, but if, like, Mike Kalinowski is the perfect example. Like, he opted not to be number 1 contender or put in a number 1 contender match so he can potentially get more points and play more for his faction. Like, if you're champ, you don't play as much. You still play, but you don't play as much. And Kevin Smets even mentioned that on Action Industries, where, like, he didn't necessarily get a warm-up, right? Because he hadn't played in forever, except the exhibition, which barely counts in my opinion, if at all. Like, he just jumped into it, while Chandru, like, he's played a little bit. So,
no, Chandru hasn't played since COVID happened either.
When did he play Hannah?
Before COVID.
But when Smets play? Spectacular?
Yeah. So, he played it Spectacular.
So Chandru still has played this year. Smets hadn't. This was Smets' first match.
Fair enough. I was just talking about they were both rusty coming. They could have both been rusty.
Of course. But Chandru still had experience this season, played this season. Smets has been on the shelf for 9 months. Yeah. Since Christmas. Smets has not seen Andy Schmodown since Christmas, which is insane. Well, I mean, yeah, Chandru's out here beating Brandon Hanna every other week, but still, it goes a long way, especially in your psyche. And that obviously was on Kevin Smets' brain far enough to where he had to mention it. He's like, "Yo, I wanted a prep match," and he couldn't get it. We had a similar thing going into Really Trivia Showdown, our fan league. Like, I asked you for a match before this number 1 contender match that we're doing. Is it this Friday or next Friday?
Next Friday. This Friday is the Artist versus Tommy Blaine. Yep.
Word. So, like, before next Friday's match, spoiler alert, we pre-recorded it. I wanted a prep match, and you said, like, oh, it's gonna be dicey having to get you a match, whatever. And I understood, and that's the same problem that Smets faced, just to a way larger degree. Is because he's the Intergeekdom champion, and in a division that's super hard, like Intergeekdom. And Christian's like, man, like, I can't. It's a toughie. And we saw what it did to him. Or it was a part of his downfall in the match against Chandru. It's a hard pill to swallow, but I mean, it's the nature of the game. What are you gonna do? It's circumstance.
Right. Yeah, and it's just one of those things. And like, yeah, I totally understand wanting a prep match, because boy, do I wish I can get a prep match before the number 1 contender comes to play me, because that's what I'm wondering about. But
yeah, because you're sitting on the shelf until whenever the hell that match goes on.
Yeah,
so, it's and watching it isn't the same as participating.
No,
like, we both know that, and like anyone who's even been in an environment like that, like, I know what we're doing is super tiny compared to the Schmodown, it's massive, but it takes a toll on you, and rust is a thing, and Schmodown competitors be the first people to tell you.
I was rusty in that match against Taylor, because I hadn't played in about 3-4 weeks at that point.
So it's weird, but hopefully, yeah, this Sharon's great. I love it. That's can't wait for Friday.
So let's start talking about what I know you really want to talk about. Chandru the heel. I'm gonna let you say your piece first because I know you got a lot to say.
I'm not like those. Like, I see a lot of people on the Facebook page talking like, "Oh, hey, I don't like Chandru's character. He's this, this, and this, and this, and this." My problem with Chandru is that he hasn't embraced it yet, at least until yesterday. He was like, "I'm not a heel, I'm not a heel, I'm not a heel." People were crapping on Chandru because like he's being disrespectful. Mind you, one of the best matches that I've ever seen in this run-on, one of my favorite moments is when Guy beat Merle, going full circle when I mentioned it at the top of the show. Guy was giving middle fingers to everyone, including Dan Merle. So what the hell are you talking about disrespectful? Like, it's a character. You're putting on a character. Chandru, I don't know him as a dude. I don't know how many competitors know him as a dude. But the character he's given me, Chandru, the now Interkingdom champion,
Can't make up his damn mind.
he is a jerk. And he is a little disrespectful, whatever the hell that means in the Schmoedown, because it depends on who you ask, apparently, at least according to the fans. But he's a heel in my eyes. Whether he wants to say it or not, I think so. And he's a pretty damn good one. Like, I can't... Everyone hates him. Everyone hates him. And I don't understand how you could still be a face or still try to be a face. Just be a heel. And after backstage yesterday, watching him talk his smack on the chant, I told Smets, I forgot exactly what he said to Smets. It was, I don't know if you remember, but it was really nerve-wracking. But it's like, yo, he was talking his crap. He got it in the match against Smets, continued it over to backstage.
You're talking about what he said at the end. He's like, "Don't worry." When in between Smets is 3 and 5, he's like, "Don't worry, this will be over soon."
That's exactly what he said. I'm like, ooh, like, come on, no face says that. No baby face says that. And then him going to backstage, talking to his crap even more, bringing that up, backing that up, and then Ben Goddard, chiming in, trying to compliment Chandru. Chandru's like, "Oh, what? Who are you? Go win some more matches." And he's like, "What are you talking about?"
He just took shots at Goddard out of nowhere.
For no
context.
reason.
He asked him a question. He complimented him and asked him a question.
He was nice about it. And Ben was nice about it, too. He's like, "Hey, man, like, I saw this thing. I want to ask you something." And Chandra's like, "No, go win more matches. And then you can talk to me like that." I'm like, damn. What the hell?
I didn't like the disrespect in your voice. I'm like, what disrespect? He was paying you respect and asked you a question.
I can't rock with I can't rock with him being the heel. And the hardest pill for me to swallow, Matt, is when I was watching backstage yesterday. Because he told me, because I was at work when I'm always at work when backstage happens, and he told me to tune in because Chandru's taking shots at Goddard. And I'm like, ooh, let me see this. And I saw the character I saw what Chandru was putting out there. I'm like, yo, I love this.
You said he might have overtaken Hannah.
In regards to I think Brandon Hanna is just, like I mentioned on the show before. He looks like Ben Bateman, acts like Andrew Guy, and he expects the same heat, and he doesn't get the same heat in my eyes. But Chandru, if he wasn't a better heel than Hannah before, my God, like, I hate Chandru's character, and that's exactly what a heel should be. Any professional wrestling fan should know that. And I'm not talking to you, man. I'm talking to really the Schmoedown in general, the Schmoedown fans that have been crapping on Chandru like crazy the last couple of days because he doesn't deserve it. He's playing a character. Christian Harloff, the guy that's in charge of this thing, is a professional wrestling fanatic, works for the damn WWE.
At one point.
Yeah, he knows what's up. He gets it. He's building these characters. And how could you crap on a guy that is portraying a character and you're like, I hate this man. And he's doing the same thing Andrew Guy was doing at one point. Ben Bateman was doing at one point. That Roka was doing at one point. Dagnino was doing at one point. All four of those guys are beloved in the Schmoedown. And what Chandru's doing is the same thing as what they were doing, just with different circumstances and the different people. I love what Chandru's doing. I hate his character, which is a good thing. Good job, Chandru. You swayed me. You got me. And all it took was some trash talk and that appearance on Backstage. Really, the last 2 weeks on Backstage, Chandru, you're killing it.
Yeah. It's hard
to say you're a heel, though. Just say you're a heel. For the love of God.
As I say, it's hard for me to root for Chandru because he came into this league as a face,
hardcore babyface wearing
and
that onesie.
He was fun to root for. He was fun to be like, you know what? I hope he wins. And then something just snapped and changed. Don't know
I forget
what
it
it
was
is.
for me. It might have been the Hannah matches. Or the last Hannah match.
It was just like, it's just like, what? Where's this coming from? You went from someone I looked forward to watching every single time you played to someone who I can't stand when I watch. And here's I remember this text, and you're like, "Yep, that tells you all you need to know about it." I was watching Schmodown with Nick and our buddy Lou.
Oh,
Lou,
yeah.
who's never watched an episode of Schmodown in his life. We're sitting there watching it. He's like, "This guy's a fucking dick. He's really just a douchebag." I'm like, "Yo!" Like, someone who doesn't even know this sport is calling out Chandru for how he's acting.
Chandru should know that what he's doing is extremely heelish. And Chandru, if you're listening, if you're watching, first of all, thank you. Second of all, just tweet or next time you're on backstage, just pop in for a second and be like, "I'm a heel, suckers. Leave the group or leave the thing." That's all you gotta say. And then, oh my God, like let the floodgates open. Plus, if the Schmodown proves anything, if you're a heel, the fans are gonna love you at some point or another because heels are so easy to root for. Hence why, like Andrew guy's a perfect example. When Andrew first showed up at Team Action, everyone's like, "Yo, who is this guy?" And the competitors were even like, "Yo, this dude's a dick. Like, we don't like this guy." But he was putting on a character, and the character was meant for you to dislike him. Going into the match with Dan, he was crapping all over Dan. Dan wasn't even participating in the Schmodown at the time. Goes in, beats Dan, gives Dan the finger, talks smack, and now he's one of the most beloved Schmodown characters of all time.
Yes.
So, Chandru, it's okay to be a heel, bro. Just say it. You're acting like it. You're definitely giving off that vibe. Just say you are. Maybe you don't have to be like explicit about it. Just be like, "Yo, I don't like Kevin Smets. I don't like Ben Bateman. I don't like John Roca. I don't like you, the fans." That's all he has to say.
Right. And
Stop the whole "I like you" gimmick. Stop the whole "I like you." Stop that. Stop doing that.
I really think of Kevin Smith as a friend. No, you don't.
Yeah. Just say I've been lying. I lied. I lied about this. I lied about this. I lied about this. I don't like you. This. I don't like this. This. Bang. Like, that could be a kick-ass promo.
Everyone would understand.
Exactly. And I know Winston's the manager. He's, to me, babyface of the year. And I hope he's qualified for it, even though he's a manager, because I think he's a super likable guy and babyface that he should be considered for face of the year. But I get it. Even though Winston's your manager, he could still be a face and manage a heel. And this Schmodown world that we've created, that Mark and Christian have created, it's possible to do it. And we won't be seeing too much of Chandru in the coming months anyway, because he's done till December, unless we have that mystery IG match. And if Chandru's even participating. So we'll see. But Chandru, you're doing great from us here at Spin from the Real, because Matt was fuming. You like I was getting these texts from Matt. I'm like, "Oh my God."
Boy, if you could see how red I was last Friday, how I was cursing up a storm while watching and listening while at Nick's. Oh my. You would have thought I was a sailor. Woo!
Dude, like, that's how you know Chandru's doing his job. But he's just thinking he's doing a different thing. He's doing a different job. Nah, man. Just be a heel. Be the bad guy. It's okay. We're gonna like you eventually. As of right now, the character you're putting on, we don't like you, bro. But you're doing good. You're doing great.
All right. Well,
Oh,
I
God.
don't know if we're going to get our special guest, but we're going to talk a little bit more about him or talk about who our guest possibly could have been, and who knows, maybe while we're still doing this, he'll pop on. Don't know. If he doesn't, no harm, no foul. We knew the situation going live, so I'm not upset about it. But after this past Friday, Winston Marshall's manager of the year. There's no one else.
Yeah.
He is manager of the year.
As much as I've been campaigning for Shannon the last couple of weeks, yeah, it's Winston.
Yeah,
I think it'd be a crime not to give it to Winston.
Really in my eyes, corruption can win all the way out. I still got to give it to Winston.
Wait a second. Wait.
Okay, I'm playing.
Wait, it's like because if corruption wins the tag belts, if Chance wins the
I'm playing, bro. I'm playing.
No, but still, yeah. Winston, he still has Ace. Final exam's going to be up for the tag belts very soon. If what we're saying is right,
if they win Friday, they're up for the tag belt. They're the number one contender, following the championship match next Friday.
So it's a 2-person race between Winston and Shannon, in my opinion. Although Tom will forever and always be in the manager of the year discussion, this year the Rooks are the first-time managers, I should say, are going to take the cake at some point at the end of the year whenever they do awards. It just feels right with Shannon and Winston. And Winston kicked butt on Friday as a faction, as Swag as a faction did that. And he's a big part of that. Shannon's been, like people like you, especially you keep mentioning like it's Shannon's two players. Like, yeah, until we talk about the Laura Kellys and the Adam Collins of the world. Even though Adam Collins had one match, but just watching him interact with Shannon, watching how hyped Shannon was for him, it made me realize like she's a really good manager. And especially what happens in the next few months with corruption, we'll see what happens. But as of right now, if the season ended today, yes, it's Winston. I can't deny that. But it's a 2-person race. It's a 2-horse race as far as I'm concerned.
3-horse race, not counting out Gucci because we don't know what's going to happen this Friday. We don't know what's going to happen next Friday.
Would you I'm asking you, Matt Thomas. So let's just say Merle wins on Friday, hypothetically.
Yes.
And the Founding Fathers win next week.
Mm-hmm.
Who's manager of the year?
It's going to be between Winston and Roca.
Who's manager of the year?
I couldn't pick one of them.
Who's manager of the year? Come on, I'll wait.
I honestly don't know.
Dude, I still would say Winston.
I want to, but to have 2 straight title defenses and win, and then basically be set until the Spectacular?
What means more?
Wait, excuse me. There's a potential if Dan wins for 3 title defenses, which means 3 title points.
What means more to you? Title defenses or building up new stars? And those stars succeeding? Like I said, I'll wait.
6 of one, half dozen of another. It's the same to me. Because to me, I'm going based off of success. You can measure success in different ways when it comes to manager of the year. But look at it this way. Emma Fyffe, she did both. She had winning success and she brought up talent. She had both. 2.
Christian put this thing in the Facebook group yesterday about managers and title defenses. How many defenses they had? Dagnino had 4, I believe. And he probably had more than that. I don't remember. But someone brought up Emma. Emma had 0.
Yeah, she did.
So But
you also have to look at the fact that she became commissioned, had to drop being a manager because
choice.
Yeah, but the Shire Wolves still went on to defend at least one time after that.
But I'm not crediting the Shire Wolves. I'm not crediting Emma Fife with the Shire Wolves. She has a part in it, but I'm not going to give her all the credit. I can't. But to me, what Winston's done this year has proved everybody wrong. Because if you're in January, when the draft happens, who are you looking at towards managers? Obviously, Dagnino, Roxy, Sam, Kaiser, and everybody else has to build themselves up. Winston not only had to build himself up, but he is succeeding at so many different levels.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Dagnino already had those champions. He already had them. Winston had none.
Yeah, and I get that. And I respect.
He's the reason Asa won the Star Wars tournament. He is the reason. You don't see Merle crediting Tom with winning matches.
He credited that entire faction. He said this faction pushed each other.
The whole faction, not the manager. Ace straight up said, like, yo, but like if Winston wasn't making me laugh, Winston wasn't making me feel good, I'm losing those matches. I'm discouraged. Demolanta comes out of this, and we're talking about Demolanta, not Ace, winning the Star Wars tournament. That, to me, means you're a good manager. So, I mean, that's not saying Tom's not a good manager, but that to me means, like, yo, you're going above and beyond with players. If you'd have told me Ace Cabrera was going to win the Star Wars tournament and beat Kelly, Knapsack, and Demolanta to get there, I'm like, you're lying. You're a liar. And he did that with the help of Winston Marshall. Between Tom and Winston, I'm picking Winston. Of course, Tom, like I said earlier, he's the best manager the Schmoedown has ever seen and probably will ever see. Probably the most successful manager as well. But this year, if you're asking me in a couple weeks, even if the Founding Fathers and Dan Moreau retain their belts, I'm picking Winston. You can't deny Winston's impact on his players.
I'm not denying his impact on his players.
Let me rephrase. You can't deny the success his players have had under him. I wonder how Ace would have done under somebody else. How Final Exam would have done under somebody else. I think Winston's a crucial part of the success. Crucial.
Ace, I'll give you. Final Exam, I think, would be a killer team no matter what. You can put them on the dungeon, and they'd still be a killer team.
Winston drafted them.
I know he did. Winston's first pick was Paul Oyama. I was so happy about that because Winston going into this, I'm like, all right, Winston was my dark horse. I'm like, Winston can draft a great team.
So even with that thought process, you saying he's the dark horse, you still wouldn't give it to him over Dagnino?
I was talking about my dark horse in the draft.
No, but I'm talking about, like, even then, they both drafted great teams. Here we are 8 months later, and you still would pick Dagnino over Winston. I can't.
If the belts are retained, I can't bring myself to. Because we've had this conversation. I'm someone who cares about the belts along with the points. And if the exchange has the belts back on top of the leaderboard, how can I not go with them? How can I not go with Gucci as manager of the year? Granted, Winston has done a fair job. When I was talking to him earlier, I was complimenting him, talking how much he's meant to me in my personal life. I'm not going to take away anything that he's done. But at the end of the day, who wins? That's what I look at. Because that's how
I understand. I understand your mentality of, because you're prioritizing belts over establishing new talent and new stars. And at least when it comes to managing. And that's I mean, totally understandable. Geez, Tom Dagnino's built a career out of that. But as a person who wasn't too keen on Winston and his managing ability when the year started, talk about someone that's made me eat crow. That whole damn faction's been making me eat it the whole year. And I can't not reward that. I wasn't a believer. Not that I was like crapping on him when the season started, but I'm like, oh, yo, like there's gonna be a couple. Like Defense Stock Exchange. That's a great team. Corruption was gonna do good. I thought the Rockstars were gonna do really good.
I really thought the Rockstars were top heavy. Winston,
So
because
did I.
Winston, the moment I saw the team he drafted, I said, okay, we have someone who's going to surprise everyone, because he drafted legitimate Liz Shannon Miller, hell of a player. Paulo Oyama, former champion. Lon Harris, been knocking on the door of a championship.
Yeah.
Like,
it's crazy how you keep proving, you keep feeding my reasoning into why he's manager of the year. He started hot from the jump, and this is coming from, like I said, I wasn't a believer. And now here I am singing the praises of Swag's faction. If you would have told me that 8 months ago, I'm like, liar. Like, no, because I think there are better factions out there. And now here I am, like, yo, I'm waving my swag flags. Which, by the way, Shimona, I can have that piece of merch, a swag flag. I don't know how that doesn't exist already. Like, I'm totally waving them. I'm right there with Winston. I wasn't there 8 months ago, but his managing ability alone has put this stamp on the league and set the bar for managing. It's deeper than just doing the stuff during the match. It's bigger, and we've established that. It's bigger than that. And I think Winston's done an incredible job of doing that. And that's why today I would give him manager of the year.
Today, I'm giving it to him. I am not taking that away.
In 2 weeks, even if the Founding Fathers and Merle retain the belts, we expect that out of them. We do, because they're the GOATs. We expect that out of them. Ace, I had him losing to Knapsack handily in the Star Wars tournament. I'm pretty sure I was on this show. I'm like, yo, yeah, Knapsack. Knapsack's in the wreck shop the whole tournament.
We both did.
Ace won the damn thing. Now here's final exam. They're beating some of my favorite players in the league right now. I have them beating some of my favorite players in the league right now. And Bibbs, Meyer, and Ben Goddard. Here the hell they are. Paul Oyama, I wasn't a believer in Paul. Even after he won the belt. Yeah. And I've said on this show that I wasn't the biggest fan of Paul's character. And him losing the Bateman the way he did, granted, I know the circumstances are different, proved that to me. And he came back with a vengeance this season. Under Winston, he's done a significantly better job. This isn't the same Paul that won the belt last year. It's not. And it's a good thing. Because we saw what that Paul did, and this Paul's going to do something greater. We had him, when we did the tournament, we had him winning going to the finals and losing to Roca, which is not something to hang your hat on. That's nuts. He might even beat Roca in that grudge match from earlier this year. I credit a lot of that to Winston. That's why Winston is in the position that he's in, why he is even leading the top of the manager of the year discussion. What else does he have to prove? Does Final Exam have to win the belts? Does Ace have to win the belt? Like, what is that what he has to do to win?
I need him to have at least one belt to secure for me to say he's manager of the year. Belts are important. He needs at least one belt in his faction.
Like that breaks my heart, because I really do think that managing is bigger than belts. Because then, like, the draft, then that proves my point. Like, after the draft, I didn't think the team that he drafted was belt worthy, and now here I am, and they're all in line for belts.
There's a difference between me and you. I did. We have different mindsets, because I looked at that. I said from the beginning, you thought
belts are belts, and they prove who, like, especially when it comes to managing, who is the top dog. Freaking the first 4 picks for the Finstock Exchange were 4 of the best players of all time.
Yeah, not my fault.
They don't. Tom.
It's not my fault.
They don't credit Tom with the wins. They credit the faction.
Bateman does. Bateman credits him. They all. If you go back and look, they all credit Tom. They say how Tom's pushed us and our teamwork is what gets us here. They say Tom. They credit the faction.
But we expected that out of them from the beginning.
I expected Winston to have a good team.
You expected Winston's team to be as good as the Finstock Exchange?
I expected him to be top three.
Say that with me in confidence. Say that with me in confidence.
I expected Winston Marshall's team to be a top 3 team this year.
Repeat the words I'm saying. You expected the swag at the beginning of the season to be as good as the FinStock Exchange.
I expected swag at the beginning of the season to be as good as the FinStock Exchange. Straight up.
I don't believe that. And you still won't credit Winston?
I cannot. Here, as I just said.
Bro, I can't believe that.
I see Harris the other.
I can't.
That's a title-worthy team. Polayama by himself is a title-worthy player. Now, did I see the ace thing coming? No. Liz Shannon Miller, she was knocking on a title shot's door last year. Makuga was there for fun. Adam Hlavik, hit or miss in IG. I thought he might have been able to come back and make a little noise. He didn't. Chandru was literally pushed Smets and other players to the brink.
This is Winston's first year as a manager. How many years has Tom been managing? And now he's already, and to you, your words, he's as good as Tom in his first year.
His team this year is as good as Tom's.
A team he put together.
Yes, he put the team together.
He's the glue in that team. And you're telling me after 8 months, since if he's even knocking on Dagnito's door, and the doors actually he's about to walk through this open door of top tier managing after your eighth month of being in this thing, and you're in the same discussion as Tom Dagnino. I think you're doing a pretty damn good job.
I'm gonna use a saying we had here in Cleveland all 2016. It don't mean shit without a ring. It doesn't mean shit without a ring. You're not gonna beat the Warriors. They have the best record in NBA history. Yeah, they're the best team ever. Beat them. 7 games. Who won? Who do people remember? The Cavaliers. The people remember the Cavaliers for coming back from being 3-1 and ending up being the NBA champions. So when I'm picking my manager of the year, I want belts. When I'm picking my player of the year, I want belts.
I'm okay. I'm not gonna have this discussion any further. We're going in circles. All I'm saying, from Chris Lopez's perspective, belts are really good. Belts do help your case. But what Winston Marshall has done this season with the people that he drafted from the jump, building them as credible stars in their respective divisions, that means more than the same guys retaining the same belts throughout the whole year. Because we expect that out of Dan, out of John, out of Ben, out of Riley. We expect that. And what Tom has done with the Barbarians, great. But Winston and what he's doing with not only Final Exam and Ace Cabrera, but the rest, and Andres Cabrera, but the rest of his faction, I can't not reward Winston for it. Because next year, who knows where the hell Winston's going to be with what team he's going to have. But this year will be one to remember for Winston. It will go down in history as one of the best managed years, regardless of how the year ends. I'm saying that right now.
I want you to look at this roster. Mm-hmm. You want to tell me before this season?
It's blurry. I can't really see it. Can you zoom in on it?
Yeah.
There we go. Yes.
Do you want to tell me before this season Polayama wasn't a star?
After that performance against Ben Bateman, it was a big question mark. I would say he's a star with a question mark at the end.
6-1. 6-1. Mm-hmm. His rookie year. You want to tell me he was not a star? Was a singles champion, not IG, not Star Wars, not teams. I know. Singles champion.
That's why Winston drafted him first, and he then came back and lost to John.
You want to tell me Lon Harris wasn't a perennial star? Everyone knew his name. Sure, did he have a character people didn't care for?
He was scratching it. He was knocking on the door, but that door was not opening for him.
And he was knocking on titles doors, he himself was a star player.
I wouldn't say he's a star, but he's good. He's
I'm
good.
not saying superstar. That we're saying he's a DeMar.
He's not Riley, Bateman, Merle, Roca. He's not.
Right now he's on Riley. Riley skates by on a lot of his early Schmodown success. These last few years, he's on the same tier as Lon.
Sure.
So yes, he's Riley. He's Riley. Let's not give Lon his due.
So who's Paul? Since we're equating them to the Finstock Exchange, who's Paul then? Who's the equivalent?
Here, right now.
Okay, but who's the equivalent for Paul Yama? Okay. Where's Roca and Murrow on this team? Where?
Liz Shannon Miller has the potential to be a John Roca.
Get the hell out of here.
Hold up.
You're telling me the potential of someone is equating to the proven success of a champion. That's what you're telling me. Please confirm that with me before I continue.
She took John Roca to the fucking ropes last year.
And lost to John Roca. So the potential that she has, you're telling me equates to the proven success.
And John Roca lost to Ethan. Losses happen.
I've already proven. I've already said in this show that Ethan's kick-ass. I've already said that. We're not talking about Ethan right now. I'm talking about John Roca and Liz Shannon Miller. So you're telling me her potential equates John's success. Tell me. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying if you want a player who can play at the same level, she's a player who can play at the same level. I don't know how she got drafted after fucking Makuga, because that's a fucking shame.
Tell me right now that's what you mean. Because you said Lon's like Riley. Oyama's like Bateman. I'm looking for Merle and Roca. So yes. As far as you're saying, Liz Shannon Miller's John Roca in this team.
She is the John Roca of this team.
Okay.
Of this team.
Okay, who's Dan? Who's Dan?
They don't have a Dan. That's what they're missing.
Because Dan is the damn GOAT. It's best of all time. He's proven to be that good. Roca's had proven to be that good. Same thing for Bateman and Riley. Granted, yeah, Riley's success was really early on, but Bateman really kicked ass last year to the point where he changed how the league should be played and how it should be studied for. Everyone's going to the Ben Bateman School of Studying for the Schmodown. Everyone. Because that's the standard that Ben set. To me, none of these people on Swag, when they were first drafted, equated to the same amount of not only of success, but of like the standard that they set. Nobody.
Pause. And you said the key words, and this is what I've been trying to get you to understand. That is to you. To you and to me are two separate things.
But that's what I'm asking for your POV because I want to understand because I don't understand what you're trying to say. And I still don't get it because you're telling me Liz Shannon Miller is as good as John Roca. And she got drafted after Josh Makuga.
She shouldn't have gotten drafted after Josh Makuga.
Like I understand that we have two different POVs and we're meaning two different things. I've said that already, but I want to understand your point. And I still don't. I know what you're talking about with Paul and with Lon. We've already established that they're both really good. That's why we have them winning this weekend.
Remember when we were doing our tournament bracket, we had Liz Shannon Miller actually going a decent ways.
Can you pull that up for me? I forget who she's playing first round.
Silverstreeny.
We had her losing the chance.
I had her beating chance. You had her losing the chance.
Oh God! You said her potential is as good as John Roca's success, and that really hurt my feelings. Like I really can't. I can't. Wow, because that knocks John down a couple pegs.
No, because
you said so much potential.
John is a great player. She has the potential to be on the same tier as John, and she's shown us that on multiple occasions. So
you're telling me.
If she had more games played, people would be talking about her in the same vein as people talk about Lon and Paul.
So that's what I'm saying. Miller, by the time her career is done with the Schmodown, whenever the hell it is,
I will say this: she will have a belt by the time her career is done. She will have a belt.
A lot of people have had belts. That's awesome. But I'm talking about how good they are because the Schmodown isn't what it ain't before. A lot of people have had belts before, and they weren't necessarily the best players. So,
I'm talking about in today's league, she will have a belt.
Shannon Miller,
that means something. This isn't a Robert Meyer Burnett situation. This isn't RMB.
Liz Shannon Miller by the time her career is done, she'll be as good as John Roca.
She'll have a belt. She'll have a high.
That's not my question. That's not my question.
Roca, you got to look at my question. You got to
answer my question. I want you to answer my question. Yes or no?
She won't reach Mount Rushmore, but that's because it's when she came in. John's going to have Mount Rushmore.
Thank you. That's all I needed. So the what I'm trying to say, because this has gone on for way too long, what Winston has done with his team is great. And if what you said is right, and if what you're telling me is correct, and Liz Shannon Miller is the shit, and I just don't know, and I'm ignorant to it, and she goes far in the tournament, who's her manager? I just wonder who the hell her manager is.
Winston.
Oh yeah, Winston Marshall. Another feather in his cap on this incredible first year of managing, and we're nowhere near done. Winston Marshall. Do I have to start a campaign? Hashtag Winston Marshall for Manager of the Year.
No, because he
should. According to you, he might not be. Depending on the two guys that already know how to play the game.
If he does not have the championship by the end of the year, it's an asterisk in my eyes. That's what I'll say. I think
it'll be a huge crime, but we'll get to that at the end of the year. Let's wrap this show up because I'm tired. I'm gassed up. You got me.
Yeah, we got some stuff to go take care of anyway.
Got me all red in the face.
Yeah, this guy heated towards the end, didn't it?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. But no.
Passion behind Schmodown. We love the Schmodown. That's all we care about.
Yeah. It is. But for everyone who tuned in, thank you for tuning in. Tune in next week. We will be talking about this Friday's match and a preview of next Friday's match and talk about all these matches that happen in between. And who knows? Oh, shit. We're going to continue for a minute.
Oh, man.
Swaggy Blurred himself.
Hey, what's good?
Oh, my God. What's going on, Winston? I just got done singing your praises. You missed it.
I appreciate it, man. I'm sorry I was late, gentlemen.
Yeah, we understand why. But no, I think I've even heard you say this because you're a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Oh, hell yeah. Unfortunately.
Hey, don't feel bad, man. I live in Cleveland. I love the Browns.
Oh, my God. I'm so sorry. At least I got 5 rings to lay back on. Jesus Christ.
Hey, you got 5 Super Bowl rings. We got 7 NFL championship rings. That's what I'll say.
That's fair. That's fair.
that's what I got to remind myself. Winning this team before the Super Bowl is a thing. But no, we were just having this large debate on. Okay. I know I've heard you say this. Winning doesn't mean shit without a ring.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah,
and we were talking about the potential manager of the year. I said, or as of right now, if it were today, I'd give you manager of the year. But at the same time, if the Finstock Exchange just keeps retaining their belts over the next few months, even if you're competing, it's close games. I would still have to, because at the end of the day, he has the chips. Sure, you would have gotten close.
The only reason why I disagree with that is it depends on a couple of things, and I think this is the case that you have to look at when, say, for example, if you were voting on, if there was a vote on who faction of the year is, maybe I give you that argument. But you're specifically talking about managers, in that case, what the coaches were doing. So how many years did Greg Popovich win Coach of the Year and the Spurs maybe made it to the Western Conference Finals? How many years?
What a great point.
You know what I'm saying? It is about what the coach is doing. How many Coach of the Years does Bill Belichick have? And there are plenty of times where they made it to the Super Bowl, obviously, but they didn't win the whole thing. So I think the bigger thing you have to keep in mind, remember, I'll give him credit for Craig. I don't give him credit for Demolanta because we already knew Demolanta's a beast. 0-2 is not a good reflection of who Demolanta was before the season started. So you don't get any credit for that. I love Emily Rose Jacobson. She didn't have a great season. So it goes to speak on what did Dagnino do for her? What did Dagnino really do for anybody else? And then on top of the fact that, you look at the fact that Roca, that there's been a lot of drama. You look at early on about what's going on with who's managing who. Not only the 4th round Roca, but who's managing who in Atlanta. You have the fact that Roka's even called out like, yo, like I needed my manager there and he wasn't really connecting with me. You haven't once heard a single person on my squad say that. And on top of that, if anything, and this is not to brag on myself or no shit like that, they've been like, I have been able to reach a new level of calm because Winston's acting like a fucking clown. So like I laugh it off and that it doesn't matter. I didn't even ask you if I could swear on here. I apologize.
You're swear away. Swear away.
Yeah, go crazy.
So like it's one of those situations that again, if what you're saying, if the end all, because the other thing you have to remember, this doesn't work on like an automatic like Super Bowl, NBA Finals. If you just have wins, you automatically make it to the finals type situation. You have scenarios where like, for example, final exam, like knock on wood, final exam could go all the way up into a number one contender match. And then say they drop it and they don't get to shoot for the titles or anything like that. But then it's depending on how scheduling goes, depending on how deep they go, they maybe can't get in that. You can't deny everything that they just did and everything else the faction had. You know what I'm saying? Like we already had a situation with COVID where we weren't even sure if we were going to end up with this title match for Chandru and Smets that just happened. So like the titles get offered up so infrequently. To automatically give that to Dagnino for a situation where he didn't really have to earn the titles this season. He walked into the season with the titles. Yeah. That in itself says a lot. I give a lot more credit for people that came close to it and even earned it, and we've already earned one versus someone that just had it when it started. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like that's not – if you didn't really have to defend the mother trucker, then why does it matter? You know what I'm saying? Like that's
gotta hide it. Just curse. We don't care.
No, I know, man. I'm going back and forth because like you know why I was late is because we're in the middle of the singles tournament. We were filming one of the matches. I can't tell you which one. I can't tell you what happened. None of that. Oh no, you're fine. I have to turn that switch on of don't swear, which is very hard for me.
Yeah, we don't have Nerd Chronic here to center on. I saw you in that White Moran match. It's okay. Everybody gets one. But that's what I was telling you. That's what I was telling you. Like, as I was trying to tell Matt over here, like, what you've done, not only, like, he mentioned Oyama and how Oyama was a stud to end the season, but he had that downer against Bateman. I personally think not only have you taken Oyama to a different level, same thing for Lon, same thing for especially Ace. Like, Ace.
I said I wasn't taking Ace away from you. I wasn't going to.
Like, I had Ace losing to Knapsack after that playing match.
We both did.
People had Ace losing to Cuevita, who had never fucking played before.
No, we had Ace winning that one. I will give us that. We had Ace winning that one and then losing to Ken just because.
Just be real. How many times did you have Ace losing? Did you have him losing to Laura Kelly?
Every single time. I had Ace losing every single time.
We didn't do predictions because that was during our hiatus. We didn't come back until after the championship.
But if you would have asked me, I still would have said, like, oh, yeah, Laura Kelly, Ace is going to lose. Oh, yeah, Demolanta, Ace is going to lose. And guess what? And Ace credited Winston. Yeah. And what I was trying to tell Matt the whole time is that, belts are important. Like, of course, you want to retain all the belts.
Belts are important.
All the belts, the belts are important. But what I'm trying to say is, like, what the manager does, not only in between the movie trivia, but off screen as well, means the world. And when Ace was like, Winston was making me laugh, and it kept me cool, like what you mentioned a second ago. Like, that means way more to me that you're establishing new stars and new competitors. Because Ace was no stranger to the Schmodown, but this was really something new for him, and he won the whole damn Star Wars tournament against all odds. Like, I can't, and especially with Final Exam, like going through what they did with the Pride, going through Deep 13, and now we talked about it a second ago. We had them beating Shazam, and Shazam's this kick-ass team with two kick-ass competitors, and it's like, Final Exam's going to take it because Winston and what he's done managing, not only because of their movie trivia. So I'm over here saying it's bigger than that. It's bigger than belts.
I'll be honest with you. There's only been 4 matches that I've actually been like genuinely scared of. One of them is, I'll be real, is this one coming up, and it's not because I don't think my boys can do it. I think they can. I think just from the standpoint that when I was looking at my draft board, depending how the chips fell, Shazam was on my list of people that I thought was like an unstoppable duo. I feel like if anybody could really take those belts, they were on my radar for potentially drafting them. So I have nothing but respect for them.
Who didn't want them?
No, well, that's what I'm saying. The second one would probably be Ace versus Demolanta. Not necessarily because I didn't think he could do it because I saw what he did with Laura, but more just from the standpoint of there's a lot of pressure and you start to feel it and stuff like that. I feel like the third one would have been Chandru versus Smets. I always had Chandru winning, and there was never a doubt in my mind. But again, high pressure situation, and I saw what Smets did last year. But then the fourth one is when I gave Roxy that L because I was not trying to look like a jackass. I was not trying to look like an asshat, and I was so grateful.
Entire season. That's still one of my most favorite moments for this entire season.
I'm just really worried that it won't win Moment of the Year, and I felt like it deserves it because it was so fire. Like without being on my own shit. Like I came up at 10 minutes before the match, and I was like, "Yo, who got a piece of paper around here? Who got some scissors?" And they're like, "Why?" And I was like, "Don't ask questions. Give me some paper and some goddamn scissors."
You see the color of our skin, man. You among family, bro. Don't worry about it. But no, you keep bringing up Chandru, and that's something I actually really wanted to talk to you about because when I told you this when I was talking to you earlier, Swag is one of my two favorite teams. The other one is Finstock Exchange, but that's just because they have some of my favorite players since I started getting into this league.
And the belts, brother. They got the belts.
But again, I would even make the argument. Look. Go back to sports one more time. So who won the title last year for the NBA? It was the Raptors, right?
Yep.
So here's the thing. Yes, the idea is that you're the defending champs, but it's a completely chicken scratch season. That's the only thing about this that's a little interesting is because it's wrestling, the belts don't really go anywhere. But the truth is, other than the fact that because they have the belts, they don't get to play. You gotta fucking prove it. And I don't take anything away from Merle, from Roca, from Bateman, from Riley. None of that. Like, there's a reason why half the people I just named are on Rushmore, and the other two, actually 3 out of the 4 on Rushmore, and the fourth is working his way up.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I respect the fuck out of that, but there is something to be said about they have been sitting on the sidelines this entire time, and that literally the Finstock Exchange has been the Barbarian. That's it. That is the only credit that I can truly give Dagnino in that point is that he saw Barbarian and he drafted him. That is the only credit he gets.
Fair enough.
I could not agree more. I really couldn't.
The point I was getting to is when I see Swag, I think of these really dope, happy, chill guys. I got Chandru over here talking smack when getting asked a real question yesterday on
backstage.
Yes, on backstage. So, like, to me, just because I see this happy-go-lucky motherfucker who is like, even when I watch SEN, you and Brett always put a smile on my face.
Thanks, man.
But like, I was watching last Friday. We were $10 patrons. I was watching the Schmodown with our one friend who's the co-founder of this channel we have, and a buddy of ours who had never watched a match of Schmodown before. Yeah. And all I could say was, when he saw how Chandru was playing and acting, he's like, that dude's a fucking dick. So, like, for some reason, I just don't feel like that persona fits, like, your crew. It's weird to me.
I'll put it to you this way, as two brothers, like, just let's be real right now. Y'all seem like y'all some pretty nice dudes. I mean, one guy over there got rocking the Mexican flag. I got respect for the heritage. Other one got Star Wars. Got his rogue, got his Rebel Alliance fucking helmet and shit. Got my Kingsman Statesman whiskey. Let me ask you a damn question though. When it's go time, when you on the court, when you playing Warzone, when you doing all that shit, tell me you ain't out here talking shit. Tell me you ain't out here playing mind games. When you playing spades, tell me you ain't like, bitch, that's why you got no goddamn books. And you hit that shit and they're like, oh man, fuck you, Matt. Tell me that ain't the shit. And I think that's the one thing people keep forgetting. This is a goddamn game. I will beat you with my raw skill, and I will beat you by fucking with your head. And I'll tell you this. I do that same shit, but I just do it with jokes and wearing a goddamn Robin outfit. I love that.
I love that.
But that's my whole point. I do the same shit. I just maybe say it in a way that makes you kind of giggle.
See, I'm not talking about gameplay though. I'm talking about how he reacts in interviews. People just ask him a question.
So but at the same time, how often are people coming at him though? I get that. As a black man, how many times have people tried to come at you sideways and you're not gonna go full ape shit on them, but you give them a little and then they're like, whoa, why are you getting fights? I was like, I ain't do nothing but answer your question.
I'm gonna say this. Go look at my tape on our YouTube channel and you'll see.
Before we start flexing, what else we got on this channel, what I'm trying to say is Christian made a great point on the Facebook page yesterday, where he's like, heels are there to like, because like you're not supposed to like them, right? And if Chandru if he really wants to embrace his heel thing, all right, cool. Like my problem with him is that I love his. I think he's a great competitor. I love how he played against Mets.
Yes.
And my only gripe is that he just hasn't embraced it because
he hasn't said he's
want to be a face.
But I honestly think it's that same shit. That, like my mama told me this shit all the time. You kill him with kindness. So it's that idea that you look at me and you're like, oh man, he's so nice. The funny thing is, I am a nice guy, 1,000%. I wish a motherfucker would though, because give me a reason to go the fuck off, and that's where I give him credit. That's where I give him credit. That's where I give him credit. Is that how many people were like, Chandru doesn't have a chance in hell. Smash. He gonna get smashed. Shit. He only played Brandon Hanna. All this bullshit. People just coming at his throat. Wouldn't you be a little bit angry too when you got in there? Wouldn't you be a little bit cocky when you up 8 points and shit? You'd be like, oh, this is what I'm up. Don't worry, it'll be over soon. I'll put you out of your... Again, how many times you been playing spades and you like, don't worry, I got the other 5 books right here. You don't even bother. Spades, homie. Go get me another beer. I don't even give a shit.
I was a Yu-Gi-Oh! And 2K kid. Leave me.
That's my point. How many times did you play Madden? You ever play Madden?
Yeah, I play Madden all the time.
How many times you been like 21 skunk? Nigga, get out of here. You're done. Game over. It's I never 21. Get out.
I never do that with Madden because I just like keep embarrassing motherfuckers.
You don't play 20-piece people on like.
No, I'm saying we keep playing.
Once you hit 20, you gone.
If I get 3 touchdowns on you unanswered, it's over. Like, get the fuck out. Like, you're literally done. You cannot stop me, and all I do is stop you. So just walk. That's what I'm saying. And so like I hope it's understood that that we are quote unquote a face faction. We do love to have fun. We do love making people laugh. We do like to have a good time. That is our main focus. But people keep testing us. If I could take all the rage that was in my heart for every single time, hey, it's gonna wash out. Man, final exam gonna wash out. Man, Liz Shannon Miller gonna wash out. Man,
hold on. I was giving props to Liz Shannon Miller. I said she has the potential to be a John Broca type player. And he scoffed at me.
But
I didn't scoff at it.
People were already done with Rogue 2 when they stepped up on that. And I was like, man, you just not gonna put respect on Adam's name and on Liz's name? Are y'all out your mind? So that's the one thing I'll say. We're always gonna be nice and friendly, man, but don't think there isn't rage simmering under the surface because y'all have put it there, but that's okay. I like the fire. I love that people keep underestimating us. Do that shit until this is over, because all you're going to do is you're just going to help us. I'm going to be real with you. Like, I'm actually scared if we win over too many people, what the fuck happens when now everybody wants to like be in our corner and shit, if we have the same rage that's fueled us this whole time.
So moral of the story is that don't believe in swag.
Yeah.
We because especially after the last few weeks, and when we were talking about the Intergeekdom match last week, it's like, yeah, we were both talking about Chandru's great, but we had Smets, admittedly.
Yeah.
And after watching the match with Chandru, I'm like, I will eat so much flack for this, and I'm so ready for it,
bro.
Because it took me this long to get on the bandwagon for Chandru, and I would be the first person to admit it. But my God, not only are like what you said, if you got to defend yourself. So you're gonna clap back, and that's all right. But I don't especially on the Facebook group yesterday, it got really toxic. It was like, oh, he's disrespectful to the league and to the people, and that's all Andrew Guy did for the first 3 years.
That's the first thing that I would point out all fucking day, and that's the part of me that I have had to take a step backwards in the sense that I have to be careful that being in this league that I don't go off in the wrong way and push the wrong buttons, because there's a lot in me that I don't have a problem with with people coming at the characters that we play on the show. I saw too many personal attacks that were getting me pissed, and I'm glad that Christian said something instead of me, because I, as I have said, as a potentially sometimes angry black man, I'm just gonna rip. I'm going to rip, and I will not be polite about it. And so, like, that's one of the things that I do appreciate. But that's the thing, is that you have to remember: do you have to like the guy? No. But stop with the personal attack shit. And on top of the fact, have you met Chandru? Are you going based off of what you see when the cameras are on? Or are you going off of something because you actually sat and had a conversation with them or whatever? Do you know how much I hated Triple H as a child? But I didn't know that man. Bro, I didn't know that man. So I had nothing. I can hate Vince McMahon because I see how he treats his business and how he doesn't give proper health care. And there's certain things that he does for the wrestlers that's shit for me to be like, man, fuck that dude. But as far as Triple H, the dude, if you've ever met Triple H, and I got I got the opportunity to meet him one time, which was dope. He said like hi to me, and that was it. But really? Like took the time. Oh my god. Well, it was just he was busy. He was going somewhere. But he's signing autographs. He takes pictures. He'll talk to anybody that wants to talk to him. And if he knows when it's time to go kayfabe and just be like, whatever, time to play the game. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's a difference. So what I'm saying is, there is nothing that Chandru has said that has been personally disrespectful. He didn't say nothing about Chandru's girlfriend or about Smets's girlfriend or wife now. Said nothing about his kid. Said nothing about any of the, like, he just said, I think you're overrated. He said, I don't think your wins were that impressive. How is any of that disrespectful to the game or to the player? What that is I think I can do better than you. That's that same kind of cocky attitude that most winners have. How often is Roka calling people he called Oyama Little Mountain. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, get all the way the fuck out of here about this shit about he's disrespectful. He's not. He's just not putting up with people's bullshit. When we're talking about the game, who knew that precedent shit? Name one person that, because most people are like, man, I didn't even think about that. I mean, he's right though. They did set that precedent, and Chandru knew that shit and defended it like his own goddamn like attorney. Like, that's some real shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I'm saying. That's my boy.
No, I respect that, and I respect you for coming on and even giving us a light of day. Because,
for real, thanks, Winston.
Like literally, as soon as I sent that tweet out, I sent Chris a screenshot. Like, I shot my shot. We'll see what the fuck happens.
I apologize for waxing poetic a little too long there, but I get past.
Oh no, say your piece, man. Say your piece.
But no, we do got to close the show. I'm thankful for these 20 minutes that we got with you, and like I said, watch my film. Just watch my film. There's a reason I got this. What to do. Watch my film. Really, our family, our channel family that we're growing, and we actually have a match. We got to go record. I got the people who are playing blowing my phone up.
But for real, thanks, Winston, for not only I know you're busy doing the stuff for the Schmodown, but as two guys, as two black men that aspire to do the same things you are. I'm eternally grateful for just the 20 minutes, man. That's all we need. Man,
of course, I'm glad to be here. All I want to see is more people that look like us getting represented in this, man. Like, I hope to see you guys up there one day. Because, that's the thing. There's just as many of us that are Star Wars fans, that are Eric Geekdom fans, that are movie fans in general, and we care about this stuff just as much. My next big push, which I have not stopped since the Black History Month Schmodown, man, is to get a black movie slice. Let's get it. I will never stop harping on that, and people will give me pushback, but I don't give a fuck. I will push, and I'll push. Yeah. So.
Hell yeah,
well, everyone who watched, thank you for watching. Tune in next Wednesday, and we'll see you then. Remember, spin from the reel, not the peg.